Hey, everybody. We are in lesson 5-2, congruent triangles of the Tennessee Revealed Geometry. And let me just start out by saying the order of the letters matter. The order of the letters matter. So if you're a brand new teacher, you're not as familiar with geometry, especially on the ACT, the order of the letters, when you're talking about two different figures, means those are the ones that are congruent to each other. So keep that in mind as we go through, and I'll probably say that several times. So if you've got two congruent polygons, they're going to, on the ACT, list the letters in the order that they're congruent. So their corresponding parts will be in order. It's like, for instance, if you're looking at like two of these figures right here, and they say this is a figure A, B, C, D. A being a 1/, and if they say it first, then W has to go first in the second figure because it's a 1/, and they are congruent to each other. If they say B second, which is a 2/, then in this one they have to say X second because it's a 2/. If they say C third, then they have to say Y third. And if they say D fourth, then they have to say Z fourth. And it can go in any order, but usually they like to go clockwise. So if this is figure ABCD, then it has to be congruent to figure WXYZ in that order. So order matters. Those are your corresponding parts. Okay, so with that being said, we're probably going to end up having to identify things that are congruent based on their position and also their little marks. And I see we're going to do angles. So A and W are congruent, B and X are congruent, C and Y are congruent, and D and Z are congruent. And you can tell by their little slash marks. Same thing for the sides. A and B is marked with a 2/, and it would be congruent to the XW, which is a 2/. BC is a 1, so it'll be marked congruent to XY, which is a 1. I'm just, going along this, just in a matter of order. CD is marked with a 3, and that's going to be the same as YZ with a 3. And then AD, which is your also alongside, which is weird that it's marked with a 3, is going to be congruent to WZ. So I'm not sure if that's a typo or something's going on. It should be marked with maybe 4 slashes because it is different than the other. All right. So let's get into this. So it looks like in my check, I'm turning to the next page. I'm on page 298, y'all, in your workbook. So angle P, which is marked with a 1/, will be congruent to angle G, which is a 1/. I'm going to put angle G. Go to geometry, click on the angle, and capital G. All right, Q, which is marked with a 2, will be congruent to G, F, which is a 2. Don't make a mistake there. All right. So I went from P to Q, and I went from G to F. All right, so R is a 3, and that's going to be marked congruent to E, which is a 3, angle E. And S, which is a 4, is going to be marked congruent to angle D, which is a 4. Okay, done with angles. Angles are actually the easy part. It's my students that get confused on the segments. But again, you want to look at tick marks. So if I'm looking from P to Q, which has a 1/ on this side, then I'm looking for the side on the other figure that has a 1/, and that's going to be the GF. Now listen, order matters. So if you go from a 1 to a 2 PQ, you want to do the same thing here. 1 to a 2 would be GF. All right, so I'm looking for a segment GF. I can't see which one's segment. All right, it's this one right here, GF. All right, Q to R has 3 slashes, and Q is a 2, R is a 3, so I have to look 2 to 3 over here. 2 to 3 would be 3 slashes FE. All right, R to S. R to S has 3 slashes as well, but it's a 3 slashed angle to a 4 slashed angle. So the same one over here would be 3 slashed to a 4 slashed ED. And last but not least, SP. There it is. SP has 2 little slashes on it. So does this one right here. But again, order matters. So you're going from a 4 to a 1. And that means I got to do D to G. 4 to 1. All right, there we go. Okay, again, order matters here when they're naming the polygon. So if they go PQRS, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, on the other one, you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be GFED. GFED. Order matters. That's how you tell without a figure which angles and segments are congruent to each other, because sometimes you may not have something to look at. All right, example number 2. Still on page 298. And again, order matters here. So this R, because they say it first, will be congruent to angle T because they say it first. So this angle R is congruent to this angle T. And that's how they do part A. Okay, so listen, I need to find 3 angles of a triangle equal 180. And since triangle RSV has a 90-degree perpendicular angle and a 78-degree angle, this little arrow does get confusing, but they're talking about this little angle right there. Then 3 angles of a triangle equal 180, which will give me angle R and also angle T, which is your X. So 180 minus 90 is 90. Minus 78 is going to be our answer, which is 12. So angle R is 12 degrees, which is angle T, 12 degrees. All right, so there we go. X is 12. All right, so now we're going to find Y. Well, Y is a side, and it is the side from R to S. R to S is your first and second letter, and it will be congruent to the first and second letter on the other triangle, which is TV, and that's going to be equal to 24. So to figure out this Y, we're going to set 2Y minus 1 equal to 24. Order matters. Add the 1 to the other side, which is 25 divided by 2 is going to be 12.5. Okay, there it is, 12.5. All right, so again, order matters. So R matches up to T, S matches up to V, and RS would match up to TV to get your X and Y. All right. So I'm down at the bottom of the page where the check is. Same concept here. I need to find X and find Y. All right, so there's your X. It is the side of the triangle that runs from A to B, which are your first 2 letters. It will match up to the first 2 letters in the other triangle, which is ED. It's going to equal to 20. So we're going to set 3x minus 10 equal to 20, and that's going to get us solving for X. So I got my teacher notes on, and let me make a note. All right, here goes. 3x minus 10 equals 20. All right, we're going to add the 10 to the other side. So 20 plus 10 is 30. Divide by the 3. And 30 divided by 3 is 10. So X is 10 in this particular problem. There you go. All right, now we got to find Y. Well, I see Y is an angle. Its vertical angle is also unknown, but it happens to be the third angle of a triangle where I know 2 angles, the 38 and the 90. So I'm going to take 180 because 3 angles of a triangle add up to be 180. I'm going to subtract 90 and the 38, which will give me 52. This angle right here, C, is 52. That means its vertical angle is also 52. So Y is 52, everybody. All right, listen, so if you need another example, you can go online and get that from your teacher. And I am going to go to the next page, page 299. Okay, so we got here 2 angles of one triangle congruent to 2 angles of a second, then the third angles of the triangles are congruent. Well, yeah, that makes sense. It goes back to this particular problem right here. Mosey on down to the bottom. 38 would be 38. 90 would be equal to 90. And since these are vertical, 52 would be equal to 52. All right. All right, so we got congruent statements again, just matching up what I've already told you. All right, so let's look at example number 3 here, which is a proof, I think. We don't do proofs in Tennessee anymore. All right, but let's see what's going on. What do we got to do here? All right, so we're folding an origami dragon for a party she's hosting. If angle ABD, ABD, B being the letter in the middle is this angle, and CBD, again, B being the letter in the middle is this angle, so these are equal to each other. A being the letter in the middle for BAD is 58, and these are both 90. We need to find CBD. Okay, well, 3 angles of a triangle equal 180. So if this angle is 58 and this angle is marked 90 by the box, I'm going to do 180 minus 58 and 90 to get angle B, which will also be the other angle B because they're equal to each other. All right, so let's see. That would be 58 because they're equal to each other. And then, oh, my bad. All right, so, okay, they're doing it a different way. What are they doing? So CBD, which is the unknown, plus the 58 equals 90. Okay, I see what they're doing. And then take 90 away. Sorry, take 58 away from 90. So I did the 180 thing, but they're doing the 2 opposite or 2 angles of a right triangle add up to be 90, just like this one's 90. All right, so 90 minus 58 will give me my answer when that's 32 degrees. All right. If you need another example, you can go online. And I'm going to the next page for my kite problem. All right, so a kite is shown to have 2 congruent triangles. All right, if the measure angle BAD is 45 and BCD is 45, all right, we're going to find the measure of angle ABD. Well, if this is a right triangle, then these 2 angles add up to be 90. So shortcut is 90 minus this 45 would also be 45. So 45 degrees. All right, example number 4 is a proof. We don't do proofs in Tennessee anymore. They're not in the curriculum, thank goodness. So I'm going to skip this problem. And looks like I'm done with this page. Okay, so the next page is the practice. So I'm done. If you have any questions, ask me, ask your teacher.